Give the IUPAC name for this compound. Pause until you've done that yourself. So here we can see the presence of the halides that are connected to this main chain. So there's only one main chain possible. So it's a butane compound here. It's a haloalkane. So in front of but, we've got to now give the information about the halides that are connected to that butane main chain. So we can see that we've got 2 bromo attachments and 1 fluoro attachment. And we need to decide, first of all, how to do the numbering. Should this be carbon 1 or should this be carbon 1? How do we decide? We must make sure that we give the smallest numbers to those halide attachments. So we start from the end, which has the first attachment, which is that. And the second thing we must be careful about is when we name the halides, we must use alphabetical order. And we know that B comes before F in the alphabet. So make sure that you name bromo first. But then you must also remember that there are 2 bromos, so you need to use the di prefix. So given all of that, are you happy with your answer? If not, change it before you continue. So which of these options is correct? So we could number 1 there, 2, 3, 4, in which case this bromo is number 1, this bromo is number 3, and this fluoro also 3, which fits with option A as well as with option B. Another possibility is we start from this end on the right, 1, 2, 3, 4, in which case this bromo would be 2, this fluoro would be 2, and this bromo would be 4, which goes with option C, 2, 4, dibromo, 2, fluoro. So which of those is correct? We can see this in 2 ways. One, we can go and add up the numbers. 2, 4 plus 2 gives us 8. 3 plus 1 plus 3 gives us 7. Which is the smaller option, and that's what we go with. The other way we can see it is we start from each edge and we see where do we first find a substitution. And the red option gives the first substitution because right on the edge it gives already a bromo. Whereas the blue option only gives a substitution on the second from the edge. So which is correct now between A and B? So we're going to take away the blue numbering. The blue numbering was not right. The red numbering is correct. Okay, so what is different between A and B? Both of them number as according to the red numbering. But in A, we mention fluoro first and then dibromo. Whereas in B, we first mention dibromo and then fluoro. To decide which is right, we go to our rule about alphabetic naming. We must name the side branches, in this case, the halide substitutes, in alphabetical order. B comes before F, so it must be bromo first. And it's dibromo. The di part we don't consider in the alphabetical decision, just the name of the halogen, bromo in this case. So bromo must be named before fluoro because B is before F in the alphabet. So here B is the correct option. 1, 3 for this 1 and then that 3. Dibromo, 3. Fluoro, butane. Give the structural formula of this compound. Here are 2 options for you to choose from. So here we can see there's that carbon, then here is that carbon, here's this carbon, and now we get to the issue that's different between them. Because in option A, the methyl side group is now attached to that carbon that we colored in green. Whereas in option B, that methyl branch is attached not to the green carbon, but let's continue and let's make a blue carbon here to the blue carbon. And so which one is it? And the correct answer is A, because the part that we write in brackets is attached to the carbon named just before it, which in this case is the green one. Notice we also have this functional group over here. Well, that's in both cases, so that's not a difference between them. But what is that functional group? It's the carboxyl functional group. So this is a carboxylic acid that we have over here. And that takes us to the next question. What is the IUPAC name for this compound? pause until you've got that yourself. As I've already said, here we have the carboxyl functional group. So this is a carboxylic acid. The functional group has to be in the main chain. So we could have a main chain like that, or we could have a main chain like that, but we cannot have a main chain like that. That would be incorrect because it would not include the functional group. So you need to decide between that option as the main chain and that option as the main chain. And which one will you choose? The one which is the longest. And you should see that that's that one. So then you need to decide, how do you do the numbering? You could call that number 1. You could call that carbon number 1. Which one is correct? How do you decide? Remember the rule that when you have a functional group present, the functional group gets precedence. You start numbering such that the functional group gets the smallest number. And then the last thing that you need to be careful about is, of course, here you have a methyl branch. And that methyl branch must also be named together with the name, the number of that carbon that is attached to. So given all that, are you happy with your name? Does it appear as one of these options? We can see that we end with oic acid in all the options. And that's correct because this is a carboxylic acid. Carboxylic acids end with a suffix oic acid. That refers to this functional group here. We can see that A doesn't give enough information. So A we've ruled out. So which is right between B and C? We've already discussed that this here must be the longest chain. And that gives 6 carbons. So it's hexanoic acid. So let's start from the left end. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or we start from the right end. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, which is correct. As I said, the functional group must get the smallest number possible, which is the blue option. So if the blue option is used, let's take away the red, which is incorrect, then this methyl group over here is connected to carbon 4, and so that makes C correct. 4-methyl hexanoic acid. Give the IUPAC name for this compound. Notice the functional group, it's again a carboxylic acid, so it's going to end in oic acid, which is our main chain. It must include the functional group, so it could be that, or it could be that, and it doesn't actually matter. The name would be the same, whichever of those we take. Where do we start numbering? Such that the functional group gets the smallest number, so can you see, of course, it must again be from the right-hand side, from the place where the functional group is. In carboxylic acids, that's an easy decision to make. Then we have this methyl group. Which carbon is it attached to? And so what is your name? Is the answer you gave one of these options? We have the oic acid. We have the 5 carbons in the main chain, pentanoic acid. We must start the numbering from the carboxylic group. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that means that the methyl group is attached to carbon 4. So that's 4-methyl pentanoic acid. Option A is correct.